So that was weird. Had a bit of a crash there. But it's fine. Everything's fine. Alright, so we are back in action. What was I even talking about? Yeah, I'm joining the Lancers Guild, hi. Talking about something. Way of Lancer. Yeah, he's my dude for now. And then we get a Durgan friend once we hit 30. Remember much about this part of the storyline. Oh wait, no, I didn't need to do that. God, don't wave your mitts at me. I think most of the classes, their stories are fine. Uh, the one that is like even Gladiator is fine. It's then once you hit level 30, the Paladin storyline is aggressively terrible. From 30 to 50, it's the thing from Girl in Gold Boots MS3 where Mike says, "I guess the story is just none of our business," and that's 30 to 50. You keep being told all this stuff is happening after you go on a quest to just beat some monsters. That's your training. Then you come back and it's like, oh man, there's this traitor thing going on. Yeah, we got a traitor in the ranks. We got to hunt him down. And you're like, could I not have been part of the hunt and gathering information? And then like at the very end of the Paladin storyline, at like level 45 and 50, it's like you were the traitor, weren't you? And it's like, no, I don't even know like what's going on. You just asked me to come here to meet with someone. And then the guy who they think is the traitor comes out and he's like, haha, I was never the traitor. I was the good guy. And he's like, oh no, I was wrong. And then there's a big fight at level 50, but I'm kind of looking around and like, I don't, it's my first day. I'm new here. I don't even know what we're talking about. Who are you people? You know, like it's insane how weird it is. But in in Heaven's Word from 50 to 60, it's not even really that better. In fact, it's worse because you're part of it, and it's just a bad story. It makes no sense, and it's dumb. And it's so bad that when you get to 60 to 70 in Stormblood, they're like, you know what? Screw Paladins. You're gonna go back to the Gladiator Guild and help those people out. That's your story. Okay, now be careful not to say no. Yes. But yeah, Dragoon is good. 50 to 60 is Actually, no, 50 to 60 is very good still. It's 60 to 70 that's kind of meh, but it's still okay. It's still decent. Yeah, fine, whatever. Lancer unlocked. But Monk is always pretty good all the way through. Um, so I'll just throw the spear on. And we will do Glamour Plate. Yeah, I like these pants better. And we're going to put this on. Yeah. No, these are all level 1. I can totally wear these. Right? Oh, but it's because I'm not wearing anything. Ay, ay, ay. So I need clothes for this character. So you know what? We're just gonna go back to Gladiator. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. I need clothes to actually wear. Because you can't glamour something in a slot that doesn't have any actual gear in it. If that makes sense. Because like, what are you glamoring? You're glamoring nothing. All right. So you know what? We'll wait a little bit. That should be, yeah, down here. I guess we're taking the long way around. That's fine. But the best class storyline related to a class is 100% Dark Knight. Dark Knight has the best 30 to 50. It starts at level 30. As you go and like, when new classes become available at certain levels, because they came out with certain expansions, they all will always start at a higher level, so you don't have to go through the slog. But yeah, 30 to 50 is the best class storyline in the game. 60 to 70 is pretty good. It gets pretty dark, but it's good. It's fine. It's not as good as the original. And then when you get to 60 to 70, I don't think it's not as good because what they did with the storyline 30 to 50 was just so good that it was hard to replicate. But it's close. It's very close. The 670, and then 70 to 80 and 80 to 90, those expansions didn't do class quests. They did role quests. So you would do a quest for tanks, melee DPS, range DPS, magic, and healing. Because I think it's like they're adding so many classes that it's like we can't have a separate storyline that we completely write and realize for all of these classes every expansion. We'll make it really good, but then at the end of it, when you finish all of them, you can then talk to one of the people that was part of your early quests, and you get one quest to kind of be a like catching up with them and seeing what's up, which is cool. Yes, we're going to go talk to the Seed Seer. Get over there eventually in the next 3 years. There you go. You can pick up the pace here, Killer. Come on. One foot in front of the other. Come on. I always liked this like throne room. I don't know if throne room is like a shrine, but like the like circular like log like stepping path through the water. A remembrance service for the fallen of Cartno. Pray tell me, adventurer, what do you know of our conflict with the Empire? It would seem my counterparts recounted the tale in some detail. That as well. Yeah, so I passed out and I dreamed the whole thing, so I know exactly what happened. A message from the Admiral. A wolf has been sniffing around her stables, you say. I shall be pleased to provide her with such counsel as I am able. But first, friend of my friend, brother from another mother, I would tell you more of the Garlean threat. For the greater part of its history, Garlemald was not even amongst the most influential nations in Ilsabard, the northern continent. However, its innovations in the field of magitech some 50 years past helped to raise it from the depths of obscurity. Emboldened by this technology, it set about subjugating its neighbors, swiftly absorbing them into its ever-expanding territory, and when all of Ilsabard lay within its grasp, it turned its ravenous gaze upon Eorzea. Yet Garlemald's transformation did not come by virtue of magitech alone. Its success owed much to the consummate leadership of its first and reigning emperor. Solus Vos Galvus, the man who built the empire in his own lifetime. Yet he has lived long, and long after, and after more than fourscore winters, it is said that he grows frail and ever more prone to illness. If rumors are to be believed, the matter of succession has destabilized the imperial court. This would explain their relative inactivity in recent years, which has granted us much-needed time to rebuild. Yet we cannot allow ourselves to become complacent, for Garlemald still maintains a presence in Eorzea in the form of the 14th? 14th Legion. Of course, the 14th. Commanding this great host is Legatus Gaius von Belsar, a man whose ambitions are well known to us. So long as he breathes Eorzean air, none of us may sleep easy. The calamity reached such devastation upon the realm that it has been all we could do to nurse our wounds. Never mind rebuild our defenses. Simply put, we do not have the strength to repel the Empire. To add to our woe, she just glitched out there for a second. You okay? To add to our woes, the beast tribes continue to summon their primals, whose very existence is a bane upon the land. Each nation is beset by their own primal problem. None has the resources to look beyond its own borders. And there's reasons why they can't just go and fight these primals. There's actually a pretty big elephant in the room when it comes to that. The Admiral desires my counsel regarding a brazen wolf. She means to tell me the Empire soon may resume its advance. Gaius von Belsar is known as the Black Wolf. So yeah, so like he's doing something. Though the primals pose an undeniable threat to our survival, the threat posed by the Garleans is greater still. I'm not so sure about. Well, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, no, they do. Clearly, each nation can no longer afford to think only of that which occurs within its own borders. A storm gathers upon the horizon. If we are to weather it, we must needs stand united once more. Our remembrance service may help to rekindle the spirit of unity through the peoples of Eorzea together, that brought the peoples of Eorzea together, I could speak, when last the Empire threatened our liberty. The Flame General was wise to make his proposal, and I wholeheartedly approve of it. The necessary provisions shall be made for the service here in Gridania. Yeah, of course. Like, we're doing it here. We're not doing it in Pirate Town or Merchantsville. Yeah, we do it in a place that actually like looks solemn. Your work here is done, my friend. I shall send my reply to the Flame General forthwith. I thank you for coming. May the 12 see you safely home. Oh yes, I was also talking about the city-states and their gods among the 12. Yeah, no. Minions are, let me just, boop, and there we go. Yeah, minions are just these little things. It'll just follow me around. And there are some you can interact with. There's some really adorable ones, actually. One I may actually just have a lot once we get to a certain part of Stormblood. Somewhat officer of information that may be of interest to you, do you? I pray a meeting with the Elder Seer went well, my Lord Envoy. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but did you not also deliver an message to Admiral Merlwib? So the Rogadin, which she's a Rogadin. Every race has two types basically. Like for here's the humans, it's Highlander and Midlander. For Rogadin, I can't remember the names of the two types of Rogadin, but there's one, and it basically has to do with like where they live, where their society and culture kind of comes from. One, which she belongs to, is the one that basically just looks like a bad Scrabble hand, or like a Welsh city name that's like way too many consonants in a row to even understand what you're looking at. And then the other one has like very character descriptive names like Silent Whisper or like Crashing Wave. Um, and then we'll eventually have to get into the Rothgar stuff. Uh, their history, they've always had like a not quite matriarchal society, but they've always had a queen at their head of their lands. And the type that Kilrath is here, he's one of the types that still follow, like they're of the race that is still following the queen and still has a connection to Boja. Whereas there's also the second group that just rejected the monarchy altogether and they just do their own thing. I mean, it has nothing really to do with gameplay. It's just how your character looks mainly. But for roleplay, like yeah, you might use that as part of your character's like backstory. But it's always just aesthetic for the most part. Yeah. Did you happen to meet Badarin, the proprietor of the Drowning Ranch? That's the dude, I think, who is the Limsa starting tutorial man. Gregarious gentleman, always happy to help his fellow man. I am told he has a task for a capable adventurer. I know not what the task entails, but I dare say the Flame General's personal envoy would make a fine candidate. If you're interested in learning more, pray speak to Badarin at his establishment. Dungeon time! You know what? I grabbed Gridania. Let's just go to Limsa. Just after I said, pray I don't have to come back here very often, and immediately I have to go back to this city I hate. But yes, the local gods among the 12, you have in Ishgard, it's Halon, and then oh god, what the heck is his name? The one for Girabanya. Shoot, what the heck is his name? I cannot remember. Let me grab some level 1 clothing real quick. Armorer, tradecraft, battlecraft. Thank you. You have level 1, good. Um, Give me, okay, nope, that's level 5. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't have any level 1. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a whole thing. Just gonna grab some cheap stuff on here. 15, 10, 8, 5, 1. Here we are. Yeah, sure. Why are whatever, it's fine. Specifically gave myself, you know, yeah, 1. Well, actually, I shouldn't have put the Hrothgar stuff away, technically. Yeah, you're selling that. Just so we can do Dragoon at some point. Veterinarian, whatever. Jeez. Really? Yeah, really, sure. Sure, wait. Y'all classes, just want to make sure. And then we just need pants. Who doesn't need pants? Yeah, just regular old hip and breeches are fine. Down for 20k, Jesus. Then again, I'm the idiot who's buying it. Proving their point. 10. Wait, how much is this? No one's selling one. Sure, cool. Okay, so. Oh, yeah. Put, no, wait, where is, there it is. And then we go, yeah. And then we take off that clown outfit. There we go. And now I need to make a new set for Lancer. And then for portraits, because this is important. It's always important. Import settings, yeah, sure. And there we go. But yeah, bow staff. Actually, Joe's staff more than bow staff is my favorite, like martial arts weapon. Just staff weapons in general. The bow is cool, but I mean the Joe staff is a slightly shorter version of it that is just like the perfect size for like combat because you can choke up on it and use it more like a sword. If you know you're because that was kind of the idea was that the length of a bow staff can become a liability if they get too close. Um, so you can choke up on a Joe staff and be able to defend yourself against someone who's getting close, or you can use the full length of it as like I think it's instead of being like a 6 foot staff, it's more like a 4. But you can still get the range advantage and use the full length of it, or yeah, you can again choke up on it. So it's just like the perfect little defensive weapon. We are going this way. Oh yeah, I can't technically start that as you, but I can do. Hold on. Can you? Actually, no. Is this? Yeah, switch that. That looks better. And now, if we're gonna do the dungeon, I think we're going in as a tank, just because it's gonna be quick. If I can get, I'm gonna try. I was thinking I can always just do the AI partners. I'll try to get a real party, just once. Um, People may still be running it. I mean, with the roulettes, essentially. Roulettes, basically, you can get teamed up with anybody in any dungeon that you have access to. Welcome to the Giant Ranch. I'll be with you in it. I am Badaron. Badaron? Badarin? Badarin. That sounds right. Who's asking? Heard I got a job for a capable venture, you say. Well, you're bloody right. Just so you're fair warned, though, this ain't no job for the faint of heart. Things are liable to get downright bleeding airy. And if you think you're still interested, let me know and I'll fill you in on the details. What do I want here? What do I want here? So here we actually start having some class-specific stuff. So this can be worn by Gladiator, Marauder, Paladin, Warrior, Dark Knight, Gunbreaker. Wait, not Lancer? Oh, Dark Knight, not Dark Knight. Yeah, so basically this is tank gear. This can be worn by any Disciples of War. So you have Disciples of War and Disciples of Land. Disciples of like land or hand are the crafting and gathering. Disciples of War are basically, your physical fighters. And Disciples of Magic would be the magic people. I don't really need any of these, to be honest. Because basically you would see like +1 or plus whatever. Like this one, for example, is worse than what I have because, well, this is magic, not for me. But you notice the defense -11, magic defense +9. You would see some difference in that. Um, Hold on, what am I wearing right now? Okay, it's the exact same piece of armor, that's why. But a couple things on gear. You have the item level. Now, the item level is not the level you have to be to wear it. That's actually down below that in the green. They have the classes, and then it says level 15. So that level 15 is what you need to be to wear this. The item level is basically the effective, like how effective the armor is. Like, for example, we cap out right now at level 90. My gear, the level of most of my gear is over 600. So even if you hit a level cap, there's still progressively better gear, and you will be required for dungeons, raids, trials to have a certain minimum gear level because they don't want someone going in there and just being unable to contribute. It's not fair to other people and it's not fair to them. So yeah, I'm just gonna take the money. Rebel up. It's probably pirates. I love some of the. So there's a lot of references puns and things in the quest titles that don't exist in Japan. In Japanese, the quest names are not puns, they're not references, they're not little in jokes. And apparently, director Yoshi P didn't know that until there was it might have, I think it was FanFest, Final Fantasy FanFest. Someone asked a question because Yoshi P and the English localization director, they were doing a Q&A session together, and someone had asked like was that the whole plan always to like was that always the plan to have like so many like little in jokes and references to like pop culture and puns and stuff in the quest titles and in some of the like quest descriptions. And the localization guy, the American guy, gets the look of like he gets a look on his face like he just got in trouble. Like he looked like he was just about to be told to go to the pro. Like he realized he did something and someone saw it and he's like, "Oh no. Oh crap." And Yoshi P is sitting right next to him and just slowly starts to turn his head toward him like, "I'm sorry, what?" And the guy leans into the microphone and goes, um, we never told them about the puns and the pop culture references." Yeah, like Yoshi P just like slowly looking over with like the look of death in his eyes. But Yoshi P didn't care. He thought it was funny, probably. But he was like, "Yeah, we didn't tell them about that. Thanks for bringing that up with him right here." What he was thinking was probably what Yoshi P said when someone had asked with World of Warcraft Classic being a thing where you can basically play the game as it was when it first came out. You know, with that being successful and everything, would you ever consider doing a 1.0 like a redo of that where you can play through the original Final Fantasy 14? And Yoshi P just like puts his face in his hand and just goes, "Nightmare." Poor guy. It's like they hired me to fix that, to get rid of it and fix it, and I did. I am but one man. And I don't think anyone would, I can't imagine anyone would want to play that version of the game. It was awful. It failed for a reason. Um, I thank you for taking the time to help me out. Now, I'm sure you're busy, so I'll come straight to the point. Word is word is, uh, some suspicious-looking buggers have been sneaking in and out of the Sastasha Sea Grot, and I need a trustworthy adventurer sort to head up north of Ailport and find out what it is that they're up to. And it's probably pirates. Don't sound like much, I know, but it weren't so long ago as the Fishbacks' pet pirates paid us an unwelcome visit, and folks been feeling a bit nervous. If you would permit me, Master Bardarin... Oh, someone else. If you would permit me, Master Bardarin, I should be happy to elaborate. Whomst? Well, if it ain't the Chief Yellow Jacket himself. To what do I owe this rare honor, Commodore Raynor? Come to make sure me patrons are behaving, or just thirsty? The Yellow Jackets are basically the peacekeeping force in Limsa. The Maelstrom are their proper military branch, and uh, the Yellow Jackets are basically like a mercenary peacekeeping force. Former pirates, but they're doing their job now. There's only maybe a little corruption, unlike the Brass Blades in Ul'dah, who there's more than a little corruption going on there. They're literally just sellswords who will just, if you paid them off, they would probably just be like, "Yeah, you can raid this town. I don't care. I got paid." And then there's the Wood Whalers in Gridania, who are actually just all decent people. Neither, in fact. I was informed that you had requested an adventurer to assist in my investigation, and I came to offer what information I could sift from recent reports. Over the course of the past moon, there have been several sightings of an unfamiliar vessel off the coast of Ailport in the vicinity of the Isles of Umbra. This information comes to my attention no more than a few weeks after a squad of my own soldiers had completed a routine patrol of the region, the Sastasha Sea Grot included. Their research revealed little, save that a family of Querls had taken up residence in the caves. Nothing to concern us, in short. In light of recent developments, however, it would seem wise to search Sastasha again. But with the Sahagin testing our defenses daily, I am loath to assign the task to the limited forces at my disposal. You know what? Certain ones I think I will do the AI just because I don't want, because when I'm watching a cutscene, you can skip most cutscenes. Like I don't want to make the party wait while I'm like watching cutscenes, so I probably won't. But I mean, most of the cutscenes won't be until you leave the dungeon. They learned that because there are some important story cutscenes that you have like. I mean, it's important to the story, but it's like right before the final boss of a dungeon. So you either have to skip that and watch it later, or you have to make the party wait. And they may just run into the boss and just like fight it while you're still in the cutscene. They learned later, don't do that. By the end of once they get into Heavensward, it's like no, 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 no. The cutscene before the boss will just be, hey, look, it's the boss. And then after you finish and leave the dungeon, a cutscene will start that will be the story part. But yeah, for this one, I can't remember exactly I can't remember if it's a long one or not. Um, Thus I sought the services of a competent inventor to conduct an investigation in our stead. Any aid you can offer in this matter would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, then it is settled. Sastasha is located in western Lenosha. For more detailed instructions on how to reach the place, I suggest you consult Vumelpa. She can be found at the ferry docks on the lower decks. You heard the man. Good luck to you, lad. Onward to adventure. Do I have Alport? I didn't. No, of course not. Why would I? Whatever. Can I just get to the lower decks from here? No. Um, this one unlocks the I can't. It's basically you can change your hairstyle and certain features. Um, like you can't remake your character's like face or like body shape, but you can anything like hair, like facial hair, face paint, things like that. You can change, from him. But I don't really need to unlock that because I'm not. This is what Kilrath looks like. This is his hairstyle, and this is his face. There are many like it, but this one is his. We're just gonna go lower decks. Where's the ferry person? They're literally right here. The one I don't have. Well, I'll get it because I'm heading there anyway. Perfect. Perfect, I say. All right. We want to go south. Yes. Yes, there's the ferries. Okay, yeah, so this is the area where I can go. So along with these story dungeons, I don't know if there's a lot of the optional dungeons I'll do just because they don't really need to do them. And in fact, there's one that I legitimately do not remember ever doing ever in my history in this game that I just recently like found just sitting there and I had never done it before. And I was like, oh, this is where that plot thread that came up like once actually ended up like going to. Oh, because there's a lot of optional dungeons and optional content that tangentially may relate to the story in some ways. There's certain optional dungeons that we will absolutely be doing because it's not so much loose ends, but it's things where all of a sudden you go, oh, that's how that happened. That's why that person was doing that thing, or how they did it, why they even got the idea to do it. Um, so those we will be doing. Yep, we're gonna go once you've arrived. Best way to visit the Hall of the Novice before you blunder into Sastasha. The Adventurers Guild runs the hall, and the folks there will prepare you, train with you, blah blah blah. Yeah, I know how this works. Airport, and we can also go to Costa del Sol for a little beach vacation. We'll be going there plenty of times, especially when we get to the Hildebrand story. I cannot wait to do Hildebrand. I want to see people's reactions if they have never seen the Hildebrand questline and have no idea what they're getting into. it like Realm Reborn is a little long in the tooth when it comes to the Realm Reborn part of it. But once you get to Heavensward, the Heavensward Hildebrand quest lines, there are two, I think two specific cutscenes I'm thinking of that might be the funniest cutscenes in a video game ever. Like to the extent, wait, remember, that's what I want. To the extent that like I couldn't, oh, everything's fine. Um, I, unable to breathe levels of laughter and just staring at the screen, like not even necessarily laughing because I just, what? And then a lot of questions like, what? But not in a frustrated way. That's the thing. It's not frustration. It's so like wacky, but also like, I mean, it's like Japanese surrealist humor, if that makes sense. It's weird. It's really weird, but it's wonderful. I love the characters. And it's especially after like the really heavy stuff that you go through in the main story quest. It's nice to have a story quest where you're basically interacting with cartoon characters. But you're still the Warrior of Light. Like if they treated the Warrior of Light as a joke in those storylines, it wouldn't work. But the Warrior of Light, you're still the Warrior of Light. You're just kind of along for the ride, and many times in the story, people just like look to you, this like bastion of hope for the realm. Like, is this real? Like, is this actually happening? And you're just like, you know what? The Warrior of Light's just like, here's the thing. When Hildebrand's around, you just gotta deal with it. You just gotta say, yeah, sure, sure. The laws of physics don't exist anymore. It's fine. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna go along and just see what happens. I don't want to talk to you. I didn't mean to talk to you. I didn't mean to talk to you, sir. Oh, great. Whatever, no one cares. Anyway, seasoned adventurer. I must be the adventurer to whom the Yellow Jackets sent word. I hear you are to brave the deaths of Sestasha Seagrot. The occupants of those caves are rumored to be numerous, as they are bloodthirsty. No matter what the epic tales would have you believe, strolling into such a den of savagery alone would be the height of foolishness. No, you shall need companions. And you shall need the training we here at the Hall of Novice can provide. Oh, so okay. The Yellow Jackets sent me here because I'm guessing they get a commission if I sign up for their membership. He's immediately going into the pitch. Yeah, no, no, screw off. Yeah, okay, cool. I know what I'm doing, dude. When you have mastered all the, yeah, guess what? I'm leaving. No, sir, I do not need. What's the Brian Regan thing? Like, would you like to join our rewards program? No, and I am begging you, this be the end of this conversation. Here we are. For most dungeons, yeah, you'll go to a place, unlock it, and then you don't have to go into the dungeon from here. You can just go in Duty Finder, select it, and it'll just warp you there once you have a party. Please tell me you're here on the Yellow Jacket duty and not some daft sod out for a stroll. I can't take any more of this blasted waiting. You are? Thank the gods. I assume you already know about the ship seen slipping around the Isles of Umbra. We've been on the lookout for pirate activity ever since the vessel was sighted, thinking a crew of cutthroats might have made a den nearby. So when we received word that men of questionable quality have been seen passing in and out of Sestasha here, we weren't entirely surprised. I've yet to see them for myself, but if this lot belongs to those fishback fancying serpent rearers, the fishbacks are the Sahagin. It's their main antagonistic beast tribe. They summon Leviathan. He's a problem. Well, you can imagine the panic it'll cause. The kidnappings are still fresh in people's minds. Anyway, your task is to poke around the caves and find out exactly who we're dealing with. While you do that, I'll be keeping watch out here, praying you don't spot any blue face tattoos. Oh, that's the Serpent Reavers. They're basically a piracy group, but they specifically work with the Sahagin. There's some kind of alliance they have that you'll learn more about. Kinda, yeah, you learn about it. It's not super important, it's just the beast tribes don't act alone all the time. They often have collaborators within the alliance. Yeah, I know how dungeons work. We're good. Oh, I gotta go through the whole thing. Meh. Yeah, I understand. Alright, so let's do duty support. Yeah, I know. Duty support will give you a just, again, random dudes. Um, but well, at a certain point in the story, you'll start, Heavensward actually, you'll start being able to do duty support with actual characters in the story, like actual named characters. Um, and it's really cool because those characters act in the dungeon like they are. There's a very hot-headed, impulsive character that you meet, and we'll be seeing in the dungeon. You have a limit break bar that basically allows one person in your party to do a really big cool move when that bar fills. Usually you save that for the final boss, and you save it specifically for like if it's going to be a melee, a DPS doing it, they're going to want to wait till the boss is almost dead just to kind of finish it off at that last bit. You don't want to waste it early because you might want the tank to use it. If the tank uses it, it's it reduces the damage the entire party takes. If a healer does it, they heal the party and can also res anyone who's dead. And DPS is always just going to be damage. Doesn't matter what the situation is. As soon as that bar is filled, she uses the limit break every single time. There's really cool little moments like that. That you know, it's part of the character and it informs more about the character, and that's going to be fun once I hit that. And it doesn't matter what class you are. Um, oh, did I accidentally? That's not going to keep my portrait. Damn it. So here it is, the first dungeon, Sestasha. He mentioned that a family of Quirrells had moved in. Quirrells are basically they look kind of like displacer beasts from Dungeons and Dragons, basically leopards with like tentacles coming out of their backs. They can paralyze you. Displacer beasts actually can warp and do things like that, but um, Quirrells specifically paralyze you. So they're bad news. They're bad news bears. So here's how dungeons work. Now I don't necessarily trust the AI healers to completely keep me alive, but here's how tanking works and why it's so much easier than like I remember from WoW. Okay, so I get their attention, right? I use sprint. See the sprint? I'm going fast. I'm going to pull another pack. Because I'm not 100% sure about the AI healers, I'm gonna pop a defensive cooldown. And we're just gonna... Oops, didn't mean to do that. Now, if I had a party of players and the healer seemed competent, which is often, to be honest, I think there's more bad tanks than there are bad healers, despite the fact that, well, no, I guess healing's pretty easy too. It's not uncommon to find a really bad tank who just can't keep aggro, who, hold on. Yeah, I did accidentally change something. So, hold on. There we go. Ugh, I can't do anything with that yet. Also, there's a bloody memo over here. It might be a clue. You find a bloodstained scrap of parchment with a message scrawled out, "The captain likes his wine red." Red. Good thing to note. Sometimes you'll find things that are more just story, like little story additions in there that'll give you a little bit more context. But some things like that are actually just the solution to a puzzle later in the dungeon. But so you slap one of them, you do some AoEs to keep their attention, and basically as long as I don't turn off my tank stance, which is the Iron Will, as long as I don't do that, they will pretty much never actually stop hating me, which is good. I want them to hate me. But if there's anyone who's probably going to pull aggro, potentially it's going to be the healer. For some reason, enemies really hate healing. They're not a fan of it. One easy trick to keep the tank alive. Enemies hate it. It's not overly common because of how good tank stances are as far as generating enmity. It's very uncommon for a DPS to be able to pull enough DPS to actually make the enemy focus on them. Not super common. But generally, what you do is, as a tank, tanking 101 is you got your defensive cooldowns over here. So I'm gonna pop those, usually if I do a big pull, and you're just gonna rotate them. You don't want to use them all at once because you want to stack them. Like you want to break them, break it up between one, and then once that's done, if you still need help, you can pop another one. Um, and then you wait a couple times. Usually, if it's a person healing, not an AI, you can run and pull a really big chunk of people, as long as the healer is like coordinated and knows that you're gonna do it. So that way they can really focus fire healing on you. But yeah, it's kind of the meta that you're in a dungeon, you just want to get the dungeon over with. You just run through most of the dungeon and then gather up all the enemies and then AoE them down. And they kind of started building dungeons with that in mind, in a way, where I would say definitely by Stormblood, but even a lot of the dungeons in later Heavensward, the design philosophy was very much 2 pulls, wall. You can't pass the wall until you beat those enemies. Okay, so 2 pulls, wall, 2 pulls, wall, 2 pulls, boss. Repeat. Which some people, I think, they kind of lament the really weird open nature of some of these early dungeons. But it's efficient, and everyone knows how to deal with it. Even if it's your first time through the dungeon as a tank, you'll know either there's going to be some pulls and there's going to be a wall. There's going to be some pulls, there's going to be a wall, there's going to be some pulls, there's going to be a boss. So you know what to do, you know in advance what you're going to be dealing with. I notice I'm not really reacting to any of this in the dungeon because tank is the class I play when I want to turn my brain off. I could just podcast throughout all these dungeons for the most part, unless they're like a really important story dungeon. There's some dungeons and fights that I am going to actually have to be a little bit careful in. Arm Veil's not required, I don't think, and if I don't have to do it, I don't want to do it. Yeah, there's some dungeons that are known to be a little tricky. Good. Giant clam down. Yeah, it's down. Healing also can be pretty brain dead, depending on the healer type. The healer I generally play is Sage, which it's active, kind of. It's a healer that is dependent more on offense. Basically, you heal by attacking. But also, it's all about shields. You put shields on people so that they just don't take damage in the first place. But once you have your shields up on, anyone who needs it, their main attack is a spell called Dosis. So it's okay. I put the thing on the tank. That means that they're gonna get healed whenever I hit things with my spell. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a shield on the tank, maybe a buff, like another shield on top of that. Then I'm gonna do Dosis. Then I'm gonna do Dosis again. Then I'm gonna do Dosis again. And basically, it's gonna be me hitting one button on my controller over and over and over. If I decide to heal at any time during the MSQ, I might. I kind of do want to show off a little bit of that. But Dragoon and Monk, both, are very active DPS classes. Like, Dragoon, the rotation of a Dragoon's like moveset when you have all of it. You're managing 2 separate meters, basically. 4 jumps, much more than that, really. A whole bunch of things that you have to do in between other moves. You'll never know peace in your life again when you start playing Dragoon. You will never not be pressing a button. Monk is similar, in a way. Monk, I think, has a much... much more simple to understand flow. Dragoon, there's a lot that you kind of just have to figure out where you're going to put quicker moves in between long moves and this whole thing. So notice when we saw that note, it said he likes his wine red. So we touch the switch in the red crystal formation. If we touched any of the others, it would just spawn enemies instead of the boss. So, it would just set you back a little bit. But we do that, so we fight the boss. This is the first boss we'll ever fight. So basically, the general idea for tanking bosses, you smack them, you turn them away from the party, so that they don't do a cleave, because some of their attacks cleave, so they'll hit everyone in front of them. But you turn him around, so that way he's not going to do that to the party, and that's it. There's only a single time during boss fights that you're really ever going to use one of your defensive cooldowns. I think I can actually interrupt that. If he does it again, if he lives long enough to do it again, I think I can interrupt that. With low blow or shield bash. I can. The only time you'll lose your defensive cooldown is if there is a big red swirly, like, no entry danger sign that comes over, like, that appears around me, because that is called a tank buster. What it's basically saying is, I am going to hit my target, which should be the tank. If anyone other than the tank has had the tank buster on them, something has gone horribly wrong, and the tank didn't hold aggro. But it's basically saying, I'm going to do an attack that only a tank can survive, and the tank should probably use a defensive cooldown, because while it won't kill them outright, it's going to do a lot of damage. There's other symbols we'll see throughout that. I mean, the little orange danger, like, ground areas, that's very easy to understand. You look at it and you're just like, don't stand in that. But yeah, there's the tank buster symbol. There's a stack symbol, which basically means a party member is going to get hit by a big attack, but the damage of that attack, which would kill them outright if they're taking it alone, will be split up among everyone who takes it. So basically it means everyone stack up on each other so you can share the damage instead of one person having to eat it. And then there's others where you have to get away from other people. But it's very consistent. The symbols will always be the same. So if you see a certain symbol, you know exactly what to do for it. Since this is ads, I am going to pop a defensive cooldown. A lot of explanation, but it makes a whole lot of sense once you start doing it. Now I don't know, and this is something I probably should know, if not mischance, but enemy parry chance is negated if you hit from behind, because that was what it was in WoW. Okay, that's a limit break. So that's in the upper left, you can see the limit break gauge. That will just fill over time. But technically it should not have been the mage doing that. Ranged DPS, ranged physical DPS like archers and machinists, and magic DPS, when they limit break, it is an area of effect attack. It hits multiple enemies, but it does less damage to any single target. Because, it's split, basically. A melee DPS, like our Lancer, I guess that's why, because technically it's a fight with ads being additional enemies, but they were, like, dead at the time, so I don't get it. But a physical DPS, their limit break is always going to do a much higher amount of damage to a single target, which 9 times out of 10 means you're facing a boss, and the boss is obviously alone. Save it for the boss and let the melee do it, because you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. And there are certain fights that require a tank to limit break, otherwise the party dies. There are certain fights where the boss is going to do a big thing, and the only way to survive it is the tank has to limit break. But that's way higher level stuff. And a lot of times in raids, mostly raids, there may be fights where it's getting something happened, someone messed up a mechanic, someone pulled aggro at the wrong time, and it looks like it's going to be a wipe. You're just going to end up wiping the party and trying again. You might want to save a big level 3 limit break, because depending on the party size and the kind of like content you're doing, you'll get 1, 2, or 3 limit break bars. The more of them you let fill, the bigger the limit break. Level 3 being the highest. So the healing one resurrects everyone in the party and fully heals them. So sometimes it's good to not have a DPS do it just because the healer you might want to save that just in case as like a, you know, emergency lever. And that's saved uh, raid fights before where it looked like it was like done. The tank and like the healer were the only ones alive, and the healer got the limit break off fast enough that it resurrected the whole party, and the entire run was saved. Um, did someone drop a key? There's the key. So that's not overly uncommon to have people prefer to let a healer take it and just save it, and then if things go well, then yeah, when the boss is at like 10% health or less, probably less, have the Dragoon or like Ninja do their big limit break, and then that'll do a nice chunk of damage. And there is terminology I'm probably going to be using just because it's so baked into my brain at this point, like calling things Akmorn, um, which I kind of actually I did that in the when I was doing the 6.5 content on stream. Oh god, did I not pick up the key from the... There we go. Forgot to open this door with the key, and then he's going to give me the other key. The pirate captain and his concubines. But yeah, there's some terminology that just people call things certain things in this game because it's a nice, quick way everyone can understand. Oh, I know what that move is. Oh, I know what that mechanic is. If I say the boss is going to do an Akmorn, it's named after a specific fight, a specific ability that a specific boss does called Akmorn. It basically means everyone stacks up on each other like normal, but it's not a one and done. You have to stay on each other because he's going to keep doing it. Which is, everyone remembers Akmorn because the first time you see it, you're like, okay, stack. And then as soon as you stack, everyone spreads out, but then he just keeps doing it and killing people. So everyone calls that, like if you hear that, stay on each other after the stack up. Um, there's lots of little buzzwords like that I'm probably not going to be able to completely abandon from my lexicon. So similar fight to what we had before, except this time it's gonna be a little, it's gonna get a little tricksy. Burn no latches, what? Also, that's not a parrot, that's a toucan. But that's fine. So there's something over, I'm seeing names over there. Wonder what's going on over there. Yeah, it's probably nothing. He said knowingly. And yeah, this is like the first time it's like, oh, there's a different mechanic going on here. He's calling in extra help in the middle of the fight. It seems quaint now that this was ever like something that surprised anyone. And there's going to be some bosses we're going to face in this game that have some wacky-ass mechanics. Not wacky-ass mechanics, wacky-ass mechanics. Well, some kind of have wacky-ass mechanics. Yeah, I'm going to be leveling up a lot in dungeons. And that's not even going to be me grinding, that's just going to be naturally what's going to happen as we do dungeons. Which is why, I mean, this is a level 15 dungeon. I'm already level 18, so we'll be outpacing the game sooner rather than later, which is good because that means it's It's going to be very little downtime once the story gets going. And because I'm not really going to be doing a whole lot of the optional content unless it's relevant to the story, from this point on, pretty much, it's off to the races. We're going to be just story quest, finish story quest, next story quest. Not going to be doing a whole lot of stuff outside of that. So it's going to be, we're gonna get into the rhythm, the flow of the story now. Oh, this is gonna be a nightmare to upload because I'm gonna have to take both video. Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard to combine two videos. It's just I'm gonna figure out like before it crashed, was it even still recording? Is my question. I will have to check that out. Hopefully, it's as easy as just slapping one video after the other and then just uploading it. Giving you a little peek behind the curtain, see how the sausage is made. So you notice there's a lot of enemies around that I've been not interacting with because you don't have to. You can just make a beeline for the boss. There's really no benefit to taking out everything unless you want the amount, what little experience you're going to get from them compared to beating a boss. Beating a boss gets you a nice chunk of experience. There we go. But yeah, all those enemies, no, we're not even going to look at them. So the captain, every time we fought the captain, he's been running away. And he ran over in there. But now we kind of got him cornered, as you can see. And we know he might be working with the Sahagin. Okay, well, I couldn't read that fast enough. So that worked out. The Lord of the World shall sup on your souls. The Lord of the World, referring to Leviathan. We ain't ready to take on Leviathan yet, hell no. But each beast tribe has their own specific primal that they generally worship and summon. I do not remember for the life of me what the unnatural ripples do. Usually he dies so quickly that it doesn't matter. I think the party is supposed to technically interact with them to keep... I think ads may get summoned if you leave them rippling for too long. Like you have to go over and like interact with them, I think. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've done this. Yeah, okay, so that's what it is. It's ads. Not a huge deal, if I'm being honest. But since this is an AI party, it's not a player party made up of people who are probably over-leveled, even though you would be, if you're way over-leveled, you're still going to be, you can go into a dungeon unsynced, meaning you are not going to be leveled down to the level of the dungeon. You can just be whatever you are. You can go in as a level 90 and just walk through the entire dungeon and just slap everybody. But if you go in synced, it will take that level 90 and make you as if you were a level 15 for this, for example. Or I think it might be a little higher. I think technically it may have a... Well, like right now I am level 18. So I think it's 5 levels higher you can technically be. I think. I could be wrong on that. Poof. But what it does, it adjusts the stats on your gear and on your character so that you are in line with that. So it's that way if you're playing with, if you're a level 90 and you have a friend who joins and starts playing for the first time, you can play together and just sync your level to theirs, so that way it doesn't seem like you're just hand-holding them and kind of like doing everything for them. Treasure! Plundered knives, plundered sabatons, and from the depths an orchestration role that you can play in your house or apartment or inn. Basically, it's the game music from the game. Yeah. And we're gonna go like that. Put on some new gear. Um, yeah, we're good. I'm gonna look like a clown for a second until I change back. Now we just go back to Limsa. You cannot go into glamour plates outside of a city or a sanctuary, which is basically any town. You can glamour things, but it would have to be something already that is in your inventory currently. Since they're in the glamour plate chest, they are not considered in your inventory. So here, though, I can do this. And there we are. So we gotta go to Drowning Wench, which is upstairs. Yes. Now I think we're done with Limsa for a while. I believe the next one we're going to see is Ul'dah. I think we're going back to. Is it? Yeah, I think it is. Because I believe Copperbell Mines is the next, which we heard about actually when we were doing quests around Ul'dah. We'd heard about Copperbell Mines. I believe that's the next required dungeon. So I says to him, I says, "Aye, such a task was on the books. Was, mind. I'm afraid that ship has already sailed, friend." "Yeah, I stole your job. Might you be the adventurer?" I see. Here's the other type of Rogadin who has the weird names like Dolorious Bear, Dolores, who accepted the job of investigating Sestasha. "Yep. It would seem the ship has not sailed, but only returns to the harbor. None the worse for its voyage. A pity. We dragged our boots too long on this one. No matter, the wheel will turn and our chance will come." "You are right, of course, but there shall be no rest until we have attained our goal, lofty though it may be. Not a wink of sleep, great leader." "Who are you?" "Our aim, lest you wonder, is to perform such feats of heroism that will earn us a place in the songs of every alehouse in Eorzea. We mean to write a legend which will inspire adventurers as yet unborn to follow our shining example. Do you have such a goal? Large or small, it matters not. Only to have a star to reach for, and you will reach higher. Purpose can sustain you through times and hardship. Keep your eye on the prize, and all obstacles will be overcome in time." So he's basically talking about Dark Souls and hollowing and purpose keeping you from going hollow. "You would not think to stride into battle unclad, would you? Well, goals are as arms and armor for the spirit. I wish you fortune in your endeavors, sir." "Goodbye, then, friend. Don't you dare go hollow." "Back then, are you, with all your limbs? And a tale to tell, I'd wager." "Yeah, so I went in and our mage just burned a limit break on the first boss for no reason. Fishbacks. And there I was thinking we'd only have to crack a pirate skull or 7 L's. You'd turn your back for 5 bloody minutes. 5. That's what he said. And the scaly bastards have set up shop on your bleeding doorstep. Still, sounds like you left 'em in pieces, so I don't suppose they'll be carrying out whatever mischief they was planning. Unless they was planning on feeding themselves to the fauna of Sestasha. Any road. All's well that ends well. On behalf of Limsa, I thank you for shedding some light on the mystery. You've lived up to your reputation, and I couldn't ask for more than that. More than that. Now, I'll bet you're dying for a rest. But just in case you're not, I was wondering if you might be interested in taking another job. It just so happens I've had a request from our sister guild in Gridania, see? Oh, I get to go back to Gridania. That was Ul'dah. What is in Gridania that I'm going to go do? I don't remember. Seems the forest folk need an adventurer to get things done. Oh, this might be when I start closing in and getting a chocobo. That might be what it is. Oh, or I don't know. I can't remember. We shall find out together. For them to ask for help like this, you can bet the task won't be no skip through the sunny glade. But after the way you dealt with our fishback infestation, I doubt it's anything you can't handle. Give us a shout when you're ready. and I'll lay it out for you. Hey, mission complete. Party Finder. Party Finder is something I rarely ever interact with. There are some people in the FC who use it a lot, so they kind of usually set it up for us whenever we want to use it. Basically, it's very simple. It's people. It's basically an advertising board for parties. Like, okay, loot immersive RP. Trying to see if there's any. I mean, granted, at this level, there's not going to be. But for example, yeah, this one is running a dungeon of some kind. I don't know what level is this. But so these are running a raid. These are running a trial. That is an extreme or a savage raid, which is basically there are the trials, the dungeons, the raids, and then there are hard versions. For trials, it's actually for trials in this Realm Reborn, it's normal, hard, extreme. They do away with hard later, and it's just no, it's the trial and then it's the extreme. For raids, it's savage and unreal. Um, and then I think, oh wait, for there's ultimate as well. They're just harder basically, but they also give some really cool stuff. Uh, uh, you don't really need to do an extreme, I don't think, but I probably will just to show them off a little bit. And there might be some glamour so on. Maybe I'll just do like a day where I like forego the story and I'm just like, we're just gonna run some extremes just to show them off and maybe see if we get lucky on some drops. Because when you're in a dungeon and you don't have AI partners, every piece of gear you have to roll on. Basically, you roll a dice and see who gets the highest, and that person gets it. Or you can forego it. You can need, greed, or pass. Passing is I don't need it. You guys can have it. Greed is I don't need this because either I'm not that class right now, or I don't really need it, but I'd like to try to get it. But if you need on it, you're always going to be a higher roll than anyone who greeds. Like in case of like a tie, the need will beat the greed because the person needing it, it should be something that is an actual upgrade for your class you are currently playing. If it's greed, it's if I get it, cool. If someone else needs it, cool. Um, I usually pass on most things unless it's something I actually really need or want. Ready to hear about the job then? Like I said, the request comes from our sister guild in Gradania, and that's all I know. But this accent, what is this accent? This has turned from like piratey speak to like Scottish to now it's like part Australian now. Like what is going on? I gotta find a voice of this guy. Uh, Whatever it is you get asked to do, that's Scottish again. I somehow doubt it'd pose any trouble for an adventurer that survived a bedlam in Sastasha. I gotta get out of this place. I gotta get out of these accents. Gridania is gonna be normal people again. I think I might be interested to have words with Mother Mion. Mion? Mi counterpart in Gridania. Now, Mother Mion, again, I have no idea how to pronounce that name. I don't think it's said in voice acting. But I mean, she's the one I'm used to because of my Gridanian interests. But yeah, all three of the like tutorial people, him, Momodi and Mobidi, and Mother Mion, they're all good. They're all great characters. And you kind of need that because you need like at the beginning of the game, especially when it's the story's unfocused, it's getting you set up in the world and getting you used to the system. You kind of need like a character that you like that's kind of leading you through the tutorial parts of the game. There she is. What level do you get to Gold Saucer? I want to start playing Triple Triad. Take a seat wherever you like, friend. Our waitress will come and take your... Oh, you're not here to dine? Dare I hope you're the adventurer Badarin sent word about? You are! Matron be praised. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mion, or however you say it, and this is the Carline Canopy. With regard to the task in question, there's a fair bit to tell. Let me know when you're ready to hear the details, and I shall brief you. One moment, chat. Just gonna grab something. Alright, so I had a thought that has come to me. At some point I'm going to have to talk, well, I think they kind of give you a primer later on about how the elements work. I think. I may have to see, because the other thing I could do is to, at some point I'm just going to have to go through how all the elements work. Because there's 6 elements, and 2 like additional states almost, like elemental states. It's kind of weird, but it also makes a lot of sense in a way. Uh, I can talk about that while I'm doing other things. But first, let's see what this task is. Ready for the briefing? No. There we go. Good. Now then, here's the long and short of it. Big pardons for interrupting me, Owen. Our needs grow even more pressing. Have none stepped forward. I don't know who this man is, so I don't know his voice. Bowlord. Oh, he's Godsquiver. Okay. Good day to you, Bowlord. Your need must be pressing indeed, if to honor us with a visit. Good news is your journey wasn't wasted. I'm pleased to report that a volunteer is here at last, one who comes highly recommended at that. There's a cat here now. Hopefully she does not turn off the computer. My thanks for answering the call, friend. My name is Lewin. I lead the men and women of the Godsquiver. Now, time is of the essence, so I shall proceed directly to the heart of the matter. We wish for you to nip a potential threat to Gridania in the bud. Beneath the central shroud, there lies an underground burial site called Tamtara Deepcroft. That's the second dungeon? I thought, for some reason, I always thought, for some reason, it was Copperbell Mines was the second one. Oh. So that'll be the third one, is Copperbell Mines in Ulda. So never mind. Never mind. That was bad. That was... I regret everything. Beneath the central shroud there, yep, so... the place was a Galmoran settlement, but we Gridians have long interred our dead there. That tail, Shally, is going to knock everything over. It has a mind of its own, I swear. Of late, however, shadowy figures have been skulking about the Deepcroft, and with ever-increasing regularity. Based on the accounts of various witnesses, we suspect these individuals belong to the Lambs of Dalamud, a doomsday cult which sprung up prior to the calamity. Dalamud, as you remember, is the moon that they crashed into the planet. These zealots have proven themselves dangerous in the past, and we leave them to their own devices at our peril. Ordinarily, I would have dispatched my best men to scour the Deepcroft, with orders to flush the cultists out. Alas, the calamity decimated our ranks, and the limited forces at my disposal are constantly required to keep the XIV at bay. That's their beast tribe, the XIV. They also have sylphs. There's a couple, but the main antagonistic one is primarily the XIV, and they summon Garuda. Is there Garuda? Yeah, they're Garuda. Or they... No, I can't remember. Or is there another one that does Garuda? I know the kobolds are Titan. The... Deb. They're not... Alright, no, I don't think they're not Ifrit. We'll figure it out. Alas, the calamity decimated our so, Ixal. The birdmen have grown restless of late. I fear a storm may be brewing. In anticipation of this, I've been compelled to spread our forces throughout the 12 Sword, lest we be taken unawares. The situation so being, we must turn to others to deal with the Lambs of Dalamud. Can we rely on you to undertake the task? Again, I can speak. You have my gratitude. Once you've seen to your preparations, pray, make your way to the Deepcroft. Identify yourself to the guard posted at the entrance. He will apprise you of the latest developments. That is all. Be careful out there, you hear? May the crystal guide you and keep you. The planet also, because, Eorzea is our continent. The planet usually is simply referred to as Hydaelyn. It's just, named after the Mother Crystal. So you'll hear people talk about Hydaelyn both as the Mother Crystal deity, God, basically, in this world, but you'll also hear them referring to it meaning the land of this planet. Oh. I have a new story quest, too. What do I get from that? 20 would be... Is it Sheltron? Can't remember. that a Tamewa Zomakote? Kind of. I play your music, you like? Haha. So I believe, yes, so you do one dungeon in each area, and then I believe it is your time to choose which Grand Company you're going to be joining. The Twin Adders, the Maelstrom, or the Immortal Flames. Based on seeing all the weapons, it's going to be Twin Adders. They're just... I like Gridania, and I like the Twin Adders. So we need to go to Timtara. Where's Timtara Deepcroft? It is... Bent Branch Meadows, got it. So... what is the quickest exit of the city that I can use? So we want Central Shroud, so we want to go south from here. Sprint! While I'm out there, I might as well do some... What? You should have an eye patch. Why is there an eye patch? Did I not put on... Oh, because I... That's right. You cannot glamour something that is a higher level... Or you can't apply a glamour that is a higher level to the gear you are wearing. So since I'm wearing a level 1 headpiece, I can't put a level 5 glamour on it. Dumb, but ultimately, like, they had to use the engine that 1.0 ran on, which was not designed to do a lot of the things they wanted to do. So this game is being held together with like duct tape, string, and hope. Their prayers, they have to, it's shocking this game works with any kind of. Let me just do this real quick. So we want that there, done. Life Surge over here. Piercing Talon, and so on. Disembowel over here. Yeah. Lance Charge over here. Cast Thrust is over here. Full Thrust over here. And there's my setup. Okay, we're good. Actually, I'm going to put that over here. I don't know why. It feels better. There we go. Yeah, the rest of this leveling I'll do off screen just so I can get there. Some of the things are going to be going a lot quicker if I'm going in as Lancer / Dragoon because they're up there among the highest damage class in the game. Ninjas and Black Mages are tops, but Dragoon is like right there usually as like number 2 or 3 maybe. Because I know Monk and Samurai are also pretty good. But yeah, Dragoon is... I mean, yes, we're also the floor tank because we're known for... During our jump moves, we're kind of animation locked and sometimes get hit with the things that, we would rather not get by. So we tank the floor. Yeah, let's fight some things on the way. How was I talking about? Looking for Hunt specifically. Oh, that's a higher level than I was hoping. That's fine. We just gotta get to Bent Branch. I don't like that they're... well, of course, because I'm supposed to be a higher level at this point. Duh. So yeah, we're just gonna go right back to Gladiator. Let's fix this crap. There we go. That'll make this a little bit easier. Maybe it's level 20, because I am level 20, but there's a quest, because we're going to be going through the story quest, and the level of each quest will, increase over time. It isn't until we start hitting level 20 quests in the story that we can get the Chocobo, and that unlocks the ability to use mounts, of which I have one already, but I can't use it yet. Nope, still a little further. Oh, because I'm not sorry, I'm not talking to someone here. I'm going straight to Temtara. Right. Is that Who are you? Whenever you see a quest thing like this that has a plus next to it, it means either it is a quest with multiple parts, or it's something that unlocks. Oh, this unlocks the lavender beds, which is uh, the residential district for player housing. Yeah, anything like that means you unlock something by doing this quest. It could be nothing, or it could be, what are you? No. I think it's not until I join a free company that I get a chocobo. That's right, because they have to. You basically need to get a like permit to get your own chocobo, and then later on, there's a quest where your chocobo is no longer just a mount. You can actually summon it to help you out in a fight, which I recommend doing, especially if you're playing a magic class, like a healing class or something that isn't really high damage, because the chocobo is going to save you. It's way south. Did I tune to that the right? Hold up. Hold the phone. I don't think I remember day tune, so I'm going to do that so we have access to this. I take it for granted just because like by this point on my main I'm attuned everywhere. It's been like only like the areas in the expansion that I have to attune anymore. So yeah, we're good. Now we're good. So we are going straight south. At some point, I'll show off the residential areas. There's some really cool ones. Probably the one in Ishgard and the one in uh, not Japan. Hingashi, the totally not Japan, totally original character. Do not steal. But that one, the residential area there is called Shirogane, and it's gorgeous. But I also kind of dig the snowy castles of Ishgard. We're getting close. There we are. Basically like an underground cairn. And there's those three friends from the inn. Looks like they're going to be hanging out here too. Um, Hi, Firefly. Yakira Thakangi, I take it. Thanks for helping us out, friend. No doubt the Bowlord has already informed you, but your task is to enter Deepcroft and purge it of the Lambs of Dalamud. In case you're unfamiliar with them, the cult emerged shortly before the Calamity, put an end to the Sixth Astral Era. That's something else I'm going to have to do, along with the friggin' elemental breakdown. I'm at some point going to have to talk about the eras, because I talked a little bit about the fact that there have been 7 calamities um, that have like ended they ended like an era of civilization and started a new one. Uh, the Battle of Cartano and the Fall of Dalamud and Bahamut, that was the 7th. Um, the eras basically go in. So there's astral and umbral. Uh, like the flow of like how civilization. Like there's the astral era, which is almost like a rising action, and then a calamity, and then an umbral era where it's like a falling action. It's a rebuilding process to get back into an astral era. Um, so yeah, we are currently in an umbral era, and the elements. There's the main elements. You have earth, wind, fire, water, ice, and levin, which is lightning. But you also have astral and umbral aether. Astral and umbral. Astral is basically it's considered kind of light and darkness. Astral is light, umbral's darkness, but it's not quite. It's more what those colors represent, like what those concepts represent. Light is active, light is energetic, light is full of life. Umbral is not quite stagnation, but it's entropy. It's they the lack of energy or returning to it's less active, less energetic. So the elements have certain of those two aspects that they are closer to. For example, ice and uh, earth are closer to the umbral aspect because there's not a whole lot of life and movement in ice and earth, mostly. Um, Levin and fire are closest to the astral because they're all about life and energy and activity. It's very hard to find a calm lightning bolt or a calm fire. Even a tiny candle, it's still burning fuel to give off energy by its very nature. And then water and air are kind of in the middle because water can be a tsunami, which is very astral, or it can be a quiet pond. That's very umbral. Wind can be still, or it can be a hurricane. So those two fluctuate. So that's basically, they're going to be hearing like astral era, umbral era, and you're going to be hearing a lot of these terms. That's basically what the general breakdown is. The cultists took the lesser moon Dalamud for their god, believing that it would deliver them from devastation. And so they were rather disappointed when Dalamud exploded into 1,000 flaming pieces before it could complete its descent. Yeah, I guess if you're worshiping something and it just blows up, you're like, well, I saw that going different in my head. Having seen their god turn to ash, one would think the cultists might have moved to question their faith. On the contrary, it served only to stoke the flames of their fascination. The Lens of Dalamud had convinced that heretics, that is to say, everyone but them, interfered with the coming of their Lord and Savior, and that it's now their sacred duty to avenge him. Whatever it is they're doing in the Deep Croft, you can be sure there's no good that will come of it. For the sake of Gridania and Eorzea at large, put an end to their madness. The Tamtara Deep Croft. We will do this dungeon, and then I think we'll call it a day. Because now you can see we're kind of off to the races. It's going to be just story quest after story quest after story quest. There's going to be less downtime. Now, granted, this also kind of seems a little disjointed and not really focused because we're just going around to random places and helping with some problems. That's not really a focused story. But basically what we're doing is we're making a name for ourselves, and we're going to be getting the attention of some important people who will then drive us. Well, once we team up, again, I've said it before, once we team up with the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, whom we've already met one of, and he's already noticed that we probably have the Echo, that was what he was suspecting, and Heidelin's Blessing. Once we're with them, now we have a task. We have mission statements, we have things we're going to get done. And then the expansions, it's very much a focused thing. Because even as a Scion, you're still kind of just helping out around the, Eorzea, as you're trying to find more information on what the bigger threat is. In the expansions, you have a goal from the very beginning. There's stuff going on over here, and we need to deal with that, which makes it a much better narrative. And then once this focuses and we really start realizing what the threat is, it's a very good story. But let's go into the Deep Croft with a party. Oh, no, not you. 2D Sport. Tamtara Deep Croft. I probably should have done. Hold on. Here's the thing. I can actually do this because I can just warp back to Ulda. I just want to see what ability it's going to give me for level 20 because that might actually be useful. I don't think it might be Sheltron. I think it actually might be. I think it's going to introduce me to my first extra mechanic. Could be wrong. Yeah, why don't we do this first? And once that's done, I'll be spending the day editing this video together between the two of them. That person is fascinated by that wall. It looks fine, sir. Stand at this wall. Can I join? Sure, but it'll cost you. My wallet's in the car. He's so stupid. Now back to the wall. Alright, Simpsons quota met. Oh, I don't get anything. I just get a sword and shield. Yeah, okay. I'm glad you're here. One of our members has been attacked and is gravely wounded, and they need you to go help him. I suspect this is the work of more bounty hunters. It may even be a trap to lure more of us into the open. Nevertheless, we cannot ignore our comrade's plight. When he last contacted us by link pearl, he said he'd try to seek shelter at the Kaufman coffer, but we've been there before. Take this potion and search for him. So we're just gonna go save man. Nice and easy. So, and we'll get one piece of gear. Although really, anything you get from quests is going to pale in comparison, ultimately, to what you're going to be getting from like dungeons and things like that. That's where your main source of high-level gear is going to be. Oh, wait, hold. Wait. He is okay. It is that one down there. You know what? We're going to take a shortcut. I hope this doesn't just like spit me into a dead end. Hoping this actually is going to. I'm not see. No, it's not gonna work. I was like, well, I mean, it'll eventually come back around, but I think it would actually be faster to just do this. There's someone doing a quest over there. You are a level 58 samurai. Is that a samurai quest? I'm trying to figure out, like, what level 58-ish quest would someone be doing in this area? It might be the samurai quest line. It's been a while since I've done samurai. I never maxed it out, but I did get it to somewhere in the 60s. It's a fun class. It's just also uh, it's referred to as the selfish melee DPS because because there are certain classes referred to as selfish because they don't really do anything other than their own thing. Like Dragoon has an ability that increases the critical hit chance of everyone in the party. Monks have one that increases the healing everyone gets. Um, Others can increase the party's speed, or you know, uh, tanks have abilities that can protect the party, and healers obviously. But Samurai doesn't have any party-wide buff, so all of its abilities are just focused on its own damage. Black Mage is similar in that it also doesn't really have anything for the party except it's a walking weapon of mass destruction. That's all it does. So yeah, it's a selfish magic class, whereas Samurai is a selfish melee class. So that's not like disparaging or derogatory in any way. It's just they are hyper focused on that damage dealing aspect. There's not really any utility that they have, but they're good at what they do. But yeah, it's a fun class. It's just not my bag. Thank you, brother. It all happened so fast. Over by the tracks to the north. I don't know who attacked me, nor why they left me alive, but I dare say the answer's out there. Surely someone saw something. Now we investigate. Investigate. What'd you see? Where's Scarecrow? Oh god, I think I just redlined the audio. The fellow outside? I saw him stumble in and when I left the bar to take a piss. Was alone as I recall. You say he's wounded? I thought he was drunk. To place. Oh, fate literally just started. Right back there. Etflid. Suspicious characters? Now that you mention it, I did see a strange fellow wearing garish purple robe. At first I thought he was talking to himself, but then I realized he had a link pearl. I heard him say something about the wrong man and the Silver Bazaar. Does that help? It actually helps tremendously. Evidence. Point of ambush. I have found point of ambush. What could it mean? A ring. Ah. You don't say. Purple robe? That does sound familiar. Aye, it was him. I'd swear it. Did you find anything else? Picked up by the tracks? Might have belonged to the bastard. Can't say I've seen the like of it before. Might be, as Wyman could tell you more. You know him, don't you? He's the bespectacled bloke who always lounging around the Emerald Avenue in the city. Of course, being a businessman that he is, he'll probably ask to be compensated in exchange. Show that ring to Wyman. He's sure to know something about it. Back to Ulda! Is that closer? Actually, no, we're closer here. He's actually right outside. There he is. Well, now, Fank Kilrath, everyone's favorite venture. How you three are lauding with the gladiators. Questionable decision, given the events of recent days, but to each his own. What do I owe the pleasure? Where's Rachel? Put that away before someone sees it. Where in the seven hells did you get one of those rings? What, you don't recognize the sigil? Goddamn fool. Before you go stumbling around in the bush, you ought to at least know what kind of venomous bastards will be lurking inside. Been a long time since old I've seen a criminal organization rise from obscurity to notoriety as quickly as the Alacran. Word is they got connections to the Brass Blades, the Syndicate, God knows who else. And you didn't hear it from me. I want no part in whatever mess you and your mates have gotten yourselves into, understood? We're falling in with the mob. It could happen to you. Don't know what this unlocks. We'll figure it out later. So now we go to talk to Mila. Hi, Mila. You were cool in Underworld. That wasn't me. That was Kate Beckinsale. Oh, Kilrath, I was wondering when you might return. What news do you bring of our injured comrade? Hmm. Yeah, I guess in here, I don't think it's an issue if we say that out loud. The Alacran. I find it hard to believe, but no matter. One of our comrades returned from Stone's Throw moments ago. A gang of bandits is said to be headed for the Silver Bazaar. They're after a man with an enormous bounty on his head. People living there are in grave danger. In a frenzy to find their quarry, the bandits won't scruple to destroy property and harm civilians. And the few brass blades stationed there are powerless to stop them, or being paid off. We must stop them, Kilrath. We'll protect the Silver Bazaar and avenge our injured guildmate. All in one fell swoop. Hey, did you get any of my mail? A bit of melodramatic, if you ask me. I told you never to come here again. I couldn't sit idly by while you charge into battle against an enemy you know nothing about. Mila, a responsible guildmaster would never risk the lives of her charges like that. Who are you to lecture me about responsibility? Mila, listen to me. This is the Alacran we're talking about. So, whatever notoriety they have achieved means nothing to me. We'll cut them down like the common bandits they are. It's not that simple. More importantly, it's not your fight. What are you saying? They want me, Mila. I've been fending off assassination attempts ever since I returned to Thanalan. Just stay here and let me handle this. It'll be over soon, I promise. Just stay here while you go off on your own. Is that it? It's been 7 years since I let you leave, Aldous. 7 years. Do you have any idea what that put me through? Mila, I don't want to hear it, you selfish bastard. Do you even care about the people who suffered because of you? Just get out. We don't need your help. We'll settle this ourselves. Mila, wait, there's something you need to know. Get out! Alright, alright. Save some of that for the Alacran. But do try not to let Kilrath here come to any harm while you're at it. He owes me money. Alright. We are going to Western Thanalan, which is... easiest way would probably be... Yeah, it's 6-1 half of the other. Let's do it. It's either we leave through the main gate and walk the entire length of the zone, or we leave from Horizon and walk the entire length of the zone. So, doesn't really matter. It's fate. Anything here I could kill as a Lancer on the way? Doesn't look like it. This is a slightly too high level zone. It's one hell of a lighthouse. Isn't it? I don't really need the hunts. I will eventually need hunts, but only specifically for the Twin Adders when I join them. To gain certain... you can rank up just with these seals that you get from doing fates and some other activities in the like dungeon space, like your daily roulettes. And also you can turn in items instead of for guild. You can do it for these commendations from the Twin Adders. It's like you're donating equipment basically, and supplies and stuff. So you do that, and you can get rank, and that gives you access to more of the stuff you can buy from them. And eventually you'll have your own little squadron that you can send out on like dungeon runs, uh, which is a whole another mechanic. But that also helps rank you up. But there is a certain point where you can't rank up anymore until you finish a hunting log specific to that company. So eventually I'll just do that just so I can rank up, get that nice shiny captain spear from my Durgan. And then I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna go for if I. Well, I'm not gonna worry too much about um, Paladin because I am gonna be switching to Dark Knight, and it would feel weird to have. I mean, on my main, I have multiple things that I'm leveling to 90 because why not? It gives you the opportunity to do every class. You might as well. Uh, but for the story run, it's gonna be Dark Knight and Dragoon, and possibly Sage. I could technically do. Well, actually, I do want to do all the role quests, so I'm gonna have to get things leveled to a certain point. Well, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it because that is a long bridge. Everyone's already in position, so we're doing a personal duty. Get to fight off. Spin to win. I will not falter. Yeah, the brass blades are probably not going to be help here also because they might be the ones raiding the town and shaking it down. You never know. They did it to us on the road. There's some more. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what my look is going to be like for. I have an idea what I want the look for Dark Knight to be. Um, it would have to technically kind of wait. It's a healer. Get rid of the healer. Always get rid of the healer. There you go. There's a weapon I can get after Stormblood, yes. A level 70 weapon. Uh, Once I finish the main story of Stormblood, I can get it. That is basically, it's basically a Dark Knight greatsword. Their weapon is greatswords. Um, it's a weapon they can get that is literally just a Nodachi, which is just a really big katana. Uh, I'm probably going to use that for the most part. And there's an outfit I can get. Actually, I could just get it into my main and then just send it over here. Um, that is a really nice looking kimono. There's a couple outfits actually that have an Eastern flair to them. And being a black belt myself, I tend to like those kind of that kind of aesthetic. And I don't just mean the stream name, Black Belt Boar. I mean the reason I have that there is because I actually do hold a black belt in Shotokan Karate. I hold the belt and sometimes wear it. Rejoice, gladiators, for the day is ours. I was kind of hoping it would be more enthusiastic than that. Please be excited. Hmm? Geese Howard? What? Why would you be... Leave him to us, First Sword. I have a feeling those two are going to go on to lead long, happy lives. Yep. Such brittle blades, so easily broken. Perhaps the First Sword is made of stronger steel. Leave her, Zana. Our business here is over. Why, we've seen a sword like that. What have you done, Leovold? Aldous specifically told us that it was a pair of blades, and he has one. First Sword, we must withdraw. The wounded need tending. Let us take them back to the guild. Well, that could have gone better. Let me just check something. Yeah, I'll have to look up some decent swords, but yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna go the big katana uh, route for Dark Knight. I think it doesn't really fits this character in my head, like who this character is. He wouldn't be someone wearing big black spiky armor with a big nasty looking sword. Ulda. Then we do Zmalmal Deephold. No, Deepcroft. We're doing right Deepcroft, not Samael Deephold. It's a whole other dungeon. Go to Gladiator Town, and talk to Gladiator. Oh yeah, I like the shield. It's a neat little shield with like the paint and everything. But I like go on, plate. I do kind of like the simplicity of just the regular old bronze Hoplin, and like you can even kind of like see the hammer marks on it, the little like indentations, almost like a steel drum from where it was being forged basically. And yeah, Viking sword looks nice. Although we'll see. I can't remember what this sword is. Is this a purple sword? I think it is. Give me a moment, Colonel Grath. I need to think. Again, like, I really need that mail. I wanted to spare you this, Mila. I begged you not to go. You knew, Aldous, that Leovold had... Leovold and I once fought side by side in the Colosseum. The twin swords of Nalthal, they called us. Never lost a match. Honored by the Bull of Alamigo himself. That's Raban. He was also a former... You learn more about Raban, but basically he was a former gladiator as well who fought in the Colosseum. Um, and then it was actually the Sultana herself who gave him. It was like she saw his like potential. I guess she saved him from a life in the Colosseum to make him the basically her second in command, her right hand man, and the leader of the Flames. To which that's why he's so devoted to her, because she basically turned his whole life around. Because he was also from Alamigo before it was conquered. He was a refugee out of there when it fell, so he was in a bad spot. Leovold and I once, yeah, okay, so we did that. When I learned that Leovold single-handedly transformed the Alacran from a gang of common thieves into the most feared criminal organization in Thanalan, I knew I had to return. It seemed like a lifetime ago that the three of us used to train together in this hall. The Leovold I knew would never stoop so low. He was a good man, strong and true. What would drive him to do this? When I find him, I'll be sure to ask. Unfortunately, he seems determined to kill me for curiosity. What aren't you telling me, Eldis? I'm not clever enough to keep secrets, my dear. I'm a simple man, only capable of dealing with what's right in front of me. Do I look like a man, a guy who plans things, Harvey? I'm like a dog chasing cars. I don't even know what to do if I'd caught it. I just do things. Sorry. For terrible impressions. I'll find him, Mela, I promise. Until next time, when you're having a conversation with Kilrath and I just slowly walk into frame from off screen. Well, those are both up. That's an upgrade. I think everything here is an upgrade. Actually, no, this one isn't. I must have gotten something. Oh, the one I must have gotten something from the dungeon that's better. Um, that's a better upgrade. 11 versus 10. Yeah, we'll go with that. And now let's see what this looks like. Oh, I can't even use the lantern shield yet until I'm 21. Lantern shields are an interesting thing because this is actually something that existed in history. You know, it even has like a little hook, like not hook, but like clasp where you could hang it on the wall. It actually had a functional lantern built into it. Whether or not these things were ever really used in combat, it's one of those things that's a gray area. There's anecdotal evidence and the physical, like, uh, they exist. We have them like museums and things. Because so people made them, and the idea was that if you had to patrol like a place at night in the dark, you would have a lantern with you that could also act as a shield. So it was a functional kind of thing, which is a very neat thing. And sometimes there were some wacky lantern shields that actually exist also in this game, where they would like attach like a gun to it, like an early pistol, or attach sword blades coming out of it, so you could also like use it as a shield and like sword at the same time. Um, there were some wacky ones if you look up lantern shields, and there is actually a lantern shield style in this game that has the blade sticking out of it, which is really cool. Um, and it's one of those little historical curiosities, which they fascinate me. Um, that's a funky sword. I'll give it to it. That's a neat sword. I'd forgot about this one. Yeah, we'll keep this for now. Perp sword. Now we can go to the Temp Tower at Deepcroft. Yeah, we'll do duty support. Makes it easy, makes it simple. What a lovely place. Cult activity? What are you talking about? I don't see anything that could possibly be considered creepy cult activity. Seems all above board. Although we just saw like one of the main problems. There's imps in here. Imps are void sent. Those demons I was talking about. So the cult is summoning demons. So Oh, I should probably try my tank stance. Oh, that's... I'm going to have to like, have a counter for how many times I forget to activate tank stance going into a dungeon. Hmm. Well, there's one. So this dungeon is a little funky. You see these beams of light. We basically have to get to those beams of light, fight a kind of... Basically, the bosses in this are just... We have to fight something over at each of these places, turn off the beams of light to that thing, and then we fight a final boss. We can probably pull more than this. Yeah, we'll stop here. 4 is enough. He's. You can see next to their life bar up top, you can see Kill Rathakongi. That basically means anytime you see that next to someone's name, it means that's what they're focused on. So, for example, if I'm looking at a character like an NPC or another player, they would see if they looked at me up at the top of the screen, it would say that I'm looking at them, like I'm focusing on them. But that is important here because that's who their aggro is pointed towards. So because it says Kill Ratha means I have their attention, which is my job. Do I have to go this? I don't think. Wait, hold on. This map is so weird. No, this way. Yes, this way. The exit should be over there. Yep. To the first boss. Guys, can you get over here, please? Especially the healer. See, this is why I'm not doing what I usually would do and just pull like half the dungeon. I mean, I could probably start doing that once I get more defensive cooldowns, because I'm going to have like 4 or more as Paladin, probably more. Usually you have your 20% damage reduction, 30% damage reduction, a third one that is different based on every class. Dark Knight definitely having the worst one, unfortunately. And then you'll have Arm's Length, of course, you eventually get. And then you'll have some extra ones that Dark Knight does actually get the best damage mitigation defensive move in the entire game, called Blackest Night, which puts a shield around you that is equal to 25% of your total health, max health. So they would have to do 25% of your max health to get rid of this shield. Now, granted, it doesn't last forever. But if they do somehow drain the shield, you also then get a free use of another move that would normally cost MP. So it's just straight up defensive move for any tank. Unfortunately, they also all tanks get some kind of invulnerability move, which is your very long cooldown move that. Oh, there we go. Then we gotta fight the. This is the technically boss. It's a very long cooldown move that makes you temporarily invulnerable, kind of. I think Paladin straight up is just invincibility. Dark Knight's is weird, and it's definitely the worst of the 4. It's called Living Dead, and basically you drop to 1 HP. The way it works is you drop to 1 HP, you're invulnerable, but you have to try to get yourself back to max HP before the invulnerability ends. And it used to be, if you didn't, you just straight up died. Oh, orb. I must ponder the orb. By the end of this dungeon, I will definitely be able to use the Lantern Shield. I should be getting another one, Can't remember when I get my second part of my AoE combo. I may have to check that. I do not remember. Yeah, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I am the tank now. This way, I think. Yeah, no, that's just treasure coffers. You can explore a lot of these dungeons much more thoroughly. I mean, obviously, like I said, later dungeons are more streamlined. They're less open, planned like this. And you can find extra treasure chests. Not something I really need. Usually it's just accessories or like upgrade materials, things like that. Usually there is a chest before the final boss that may have a piece of the final boss's gear in it. Like weapons usually only come from the final boss of a dungeon or from the this is a dead end. Or from the chest right before the final boss. So you can kind of try to double dip a little bit. This is where we came from. Okay, hold up. Map. Oh, that was the right way. I saw the treasure coffer and thought this might be an optional route. But hey, that means we get a treasure coffer. More stuff. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Pop that. The hard mode of this dungeon specifically I might do just because it has some really interesting, creepy, kind of dark story stuff, but it's a very interesting one, and also I think, well, it does tie into the deep dungeons, the Palace of the Dead later, which that one I'm probably, oh, I already have that. That one I probably just straight up might not necessarily, and but I don't need to do Palace of the Dead for the story. There's nothing really too relevant. So yeah, won't even bother. So from the looks of this, it almost looks like they're trying to make their own little baby Dalman, which is kind of adorable. Especially if there's also a very tiny baby Bahamut in there. Okay, there we go. Twould be adorable. But basically we're basically just gonna knock over their sandcastle. Just walk over and we're just kicking it over. Burned limit break on the second boss again. Well, they are an eager thaumaturge. So I guess that's a thing. They're so eager, they're willing to waste a limit break on a boss that we don't need it on. Actually, yeah, I'll definitely be doing Dragoon for the final boss of Realm Reborn because that's a boss where you get a guaranteed level 3 limit break, which is cool. Because it's basically a story moment, but you could technically do it without doing the limit break, but you do get it for free at the end anyway because it's kind of just your big moment to be the cool guy. And as a tank, I'm not going to be using it, and as a healer, I wouldn't be using it. But as a DPS, so yeah, I'll definitely do that with Dragoon. And the Dragoon, when it comes to the best limit break, as far as like how cool they look, Red Mage is kind of insane. Like, it is very flashy. I mean, me personally, yeah, I'm biased. It's Dragoon. Trying to think. Machinist is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, Machinist is pretty cool. It's got like an orbital laser kind of thing going. Um, yeah, I think Dragoon just has like is the coolest. Monks is okay. It's basically just Tifa's limit break from 7. It's Final Heaven. You do the big charge up. You know charge through them and punch, and then a big explosion. Um, the tank ones do look cool, and the healer ones can also look cool, but it's all about the damage. Well, and Black Mage is pretty good too. It's very simple. They literally just drop a meteor on the enemies. Like straight up, they just get the spell meteor as a limit break. It's kind of nuts. But it is very simple, but it's classy. It's the classic big move. Let me think here. Yes, we got that. I can't remember for the life of me what. Oh no, I know what Bard gets. No, I know what Bard gets. Theirs is pretty cool. It's like a rain of arrows. That's neat. Um, Reapers is very cool. Reapers is super cool. Um, Ninjas, nah, Ninjas is fine. I'm not a huge fan of the Ninja class just because I'm not a dagger person. Samurais is pretty cute, pretty cool. And dance, I don't think have I ever seen the Dancer Limit Break? You know what, right here, chest. I honestly don't know if I've even ever seen the Dancer Limit Break. Gimme. I honestly don't know what it is. It would be a line AoE because they're a ranged physical DPS, so yeah, I have no idea. Oh, I'm getting a whole lot of stuff I already have. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't remember the Dancer one. So yeah, for me it would probably be Meteor. So be Black Mage, Red Mage, Reaper, Dragoon probably have the coolest overall. So the orbs are over there. We can't get through there to get to the orbs to ponder them. So we're gonna have to break this sealed barrier first, then we can get in. Yeah, I meant to check something here. 1526 is when I get my final. Circle of Scorn is my dot. Total Eclipse. Oh, it must not be till I get Paladin that I get my second AoE. So yeah, that's my damage over time or dot. So 26 is when I'm going to get the third hit of my combo. So my combo will basically be, finished at that point. So let's go over here, get rid of the sealed barrier. And we go back. So we turn off these, then we get to the thing they're summoning. Although, I'm not sure I completely understand their thinking here. So they're a Doomsday cult, I get that. They worshipped Dalamud. Dalamud is destroyed, but what did Dalamud to them, in their minds, have to do with the Void? Which is where demons come from. I'm not seeing the connection as to why they'd be like, well, Void Sent obviously is the answer. Other than it's it's extremely risky to do Void Sent, but it's a quick route to power, and yeah, it's Pumpkinhead. You summon a demon to get revenge for you. So I guess that's just, it's a quick route to power that they're willing to take the risk for. It's like why not say, grab that and grab that. So a lot of times when people summon Void Sent, what they'll do is summon them uh, basically because it's not necessarily easy to open a portal that a Void Sent can just walk through like a wormhole, you know. But their soul can pass through super easy, or their spirit, whatever makes them, their energy, their that can get through a very small hole because it has no physical, it's not, it's etheric. It's not something that can interact physically with anything, so it can slip through very easily. So what they'll do is they'll summon a Void Sent and create basically a simulacrum, some kind of like statue or something for them to possess, um, to basically use as a body while they're here. Other times they will actually have some way. So basically, he summons these Olymps. He'll be invulnerable until we kill the imp. That's the main mechanic. Um, but yeah, there are those who are powerful enough to open a portal big enough for an actual Void Sent to come in themselves, where they're much more powerful than because if they're in like a statue or in some kind of like, again, simulacrum, they're kind of limited in power to how powerful the simulacrum itself is. They'll have all the knowledge and magical ability necessary, but they're still a little bit limited on the physical limitations of their vessel. Whereas if they come through themselves, okay, well now they're, whatever full power they usually have, which is usually bad for us. However, I believe if they're in a statue and the thing is destroyed, they're not dead. Their spirit is just kicked out of the statue and they have to go back to the void. Similar to if they die in the void, they're also like they just become a spirit. If they die here, it's permanent. So them coming in, usually it's a last resort. It's probably the fact that in the land outside of the void, where like you have access to Hydaelyn, like your soul will actually move on properly and not just go back to the void. I might be spitballing here, to be fair. But there's definitely some kind of connection there. And there we go. And level up again. Would it be at 22? So I can totally use Lantern Shield. It's a loading. It's loading something. It's doing it. Did this crash? No, I don't think it crashed. I don't think it crashed. This is fine. It's totally fine. This may have crashed. Nope, nope, there we are. So stuff's still going on, it's just not loading the cutscene. Yeah, this is weird. Oh, there we go. Again, this game is being held together with string, duct tape, and prayers. But for, the limited scope of the engine that they were kind of having to keep adding things to that it was never intended to have, they did a damn good job. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in this game that they were able to, like, they worked magic with this engine. Plundered shortbow, not my class. So actually we can put on the shield, the lantern shield. As cool as it is, now we're going back. Actually, I didn't mean to, well, whatever, it's fine. Alright, we can go to Gridania. Good old Gurdiner. I don't know what that song is. Not you. You! Maza. Welcome back, Kilrath. I am reliably informed that your foray into Deepcroft was a success. Nor did I expect anything less. But Darren's ringing endorsement left me with little to doubt of your capabilities. Even so, you are to be commended. Lord Lewin asked me to pass on his thanks. I must say, it's something of a relief to be able to call upon such a capable adventurer. Sadly, death has become ever more common occurrence within our fraternity of late. Times being what they are, the guild is constantly inundated with petitions, and we are hard-pressed to find enough hands to deal with them all. While this means no shortage of work for able souls such as yourself, it also provides ample opportunity for the inexperienced to overreach themselves with predictable consequences. As if to illustrate the point, Avir's gone and it's all your fault. If it hadn't taken you an age to heal him, he'd still be alive. I tried. He bolted out of range before he could finish the spell. He shouldn't have been so hard-pressed in the first place. We should have done more to lighten his burden. Bah! To the house with this pathetic excuse for a party. I'm leaving. It'll be too soon if I ever see your faces again. Goodbye and good riddance. I'm leaving as well. I doubt this comes as a surprise, but I never liked you. I only suffered you for your healing, but you couldn't even do that one thing right. Cruel though it may sound, you brought this upon yourself. Oh, and by the way, some parting advice. Get rid of Avir's head. Bury it, cremate it, do whatever the hell you want with it, but for God's sake, stop carrying it around. It's just get rid of it, alright? Wait, don't leave me alone, please. I'm sorry, Avery. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. Scenes like this are becoming all too common. That makes a dozen times and a half as many days. Now you see why I'm grateful for adventures of your experience. I can send men like you on a mission without worrying that you might not return. Well, not so much at any rate. Speaking of missions, I would entrust you with another. About a bell ago, I received a message from my counterpart in Ulda. She seeks the service of a reliable adventurer, and you are nothing if not reliable. If you think you may be interested in the test, say the word, and I will be glad to share the details with you. Going back to Mombody. Yes, we're going to see, well, we see a little bit of those characters again, those adventurers. Um, I think if you start in Gridani, you can actually see them in here before the dude died, and she's now carrying his head around. Which, is weird. We all grieve in our own way. Uh, you know, uh, I don't think I would do that. I mean, I guess technically speaking, since she is a healer and it's all about Aether and life, she could just keep like I guess healing the head, and even though it's dead, it would like keep it from rotting? Question mark? Like I don't know how. So you're not averse to taking this little trip? Wonderful. As mentioned before, the request comes from the Adventurers Guild in Ulda. Once you're there, seek out Momodi, the proprietress of the quicksand. Think of her as the Sultanate's version of myself. Chances are she'll send you in the midst of danger, but I have every confidence that you will pull through unscathed. Now, off you go, Kilrath, and good luck. Oh, I'm well aware of Momodi. She's my bud. So this is going to be Copper Bell Mines. But I think that's a pretty good place to end this, actually. Yeah, I'd say it is. So we are well on the way to getting this story really, like, actually ramping up. Once we do this, I believe it's choosing a grand company, getting together with the Scions, and basically having a direction, a clear direction. And also a cast that is going to be like you and the Scions are together for the story. Like that's your adventuring group. So their interpersonal stuff, their stories, it's all going to be part of a single narrative now. Once you're with them. Um, Let me think if there's anything else. So tomorrow is going to be Mario RPG Remake. Uh, I might run that one pretty long. Just it depends on where I can find a natural good place to end, and because I'm probably just gonna want to keep playing it. Saturday I'm gonna be busy all day, so I'm not gonna stream then. I've got an event I'm gonna be going to, a charity event, uh, fundraiser basically. Um, and then Sunday, I don't know. I'll see about Sunday. I might just want to stream more Mario RPG Remake. But so the schedule going forward is going to be until Remake's done, it'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday for sure, Remake, Tuesday, Thursday, FF14, and to be decided on weekends, because that's also, there are times on weekends I do stuff with the FC. Um, but thank you again, everybody, for being here. Uh, we're getting into the meat of the story, closer to the meat. But I'm going to be signing off for now, and I will see you all next time. And I'll hopefully see you all tomorrow for, oh, it's going to be good. Mario RPG Remake. That it's a damn good game, and I'm just hoping the remake. I've heard it doesn't change really anything except some quality of life improvements, and I'm fine with that. That game doesn't need that much help. It just needed a touch of paint. Um, but yeah, see everybody next time.